The other big news out of the Middle East, at least if you look at the social media in China and a number of other places, one was assassination attempt on MBS, the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia, in which some of his guards would supposedly have been killed. He escaped unharmed. Now, I have to say, at the time when it supposedly occurred, I was actually on the phone to Riyadh. I had several calls to Riyadh. Had nothing to do with this news, of course. But I certainly asked those who were in Riyadh, is there tension? Is there something going on that potentially brings the emergency situation on in Riyadh? They all told me, no, there's nothing special. It's life as usual. So it's quite interesting how there's been these massive rumors floating on the internet on how Riyadh may be under emergency control, or such an attempt on the Crown Prince will bring instability to the kingdom. Things are going to be messy. Now, to me, it's really, really absurd. Aside from the normal excitement that the passing of these news on to garner data flow, aside from this side, it's really very interesting how this seems to have an organized effort behind it. The organized effort is, in China at least, it seems to be to say that, oh, Saudi is complicated, it's very dangerous, don't go there, don't develop a relationship, don't do business. Second is the big article in Western press at the beginning of the month, a little more than a week ago, about the grand historical deal that's supposed to be struck between the United States and Saudi Arabia for U.S. to give full security coverage to Saudi Arabia and to provide them with civilian nuclear power, and then to sell them more advanced weapons that they weren't willing to sell before, on condition that Saudi Arabia established diplomatic relations with Israel, and also to move away from China, especially on technology. Now, of course, obviously, this deal, despite the big pronouncements starting at the end of last year when they talked about it, till today, certainly has not come to fruition. This is moving away from China. This is exactly the time when the Minister of Housing of Saudi Arabia is in Beijing, signing a big development project with City Construction to produce or to set up a development zone to produce construction material. And another minister is coming this weekend to talk about collaboration on the financial aspect, financial markets. Again, this makes me wonder, somebody is trying to promote the fact that, number one, Saudi Arabia is a dangerous place and should not be a target for Chinese investors or Chinese businessmen. Another aspect that's being promoted is, well, Saudi Arabia is going to move away from China. It's not going to be doing business closely with China anymore. And it's going to fall, once again, fully under the U.S. security coverage. Now, this doesn't benefit China or Saudi Arabia, and we know who could be behind pushing this from the back. I think it's very clear for Saudi Arabia, the synergies between the two economies are glaringly simple, and that the mutually supportive trade and investment are beneficial to both sides. And after all, Saudi Arabia is the largest producer of oil to China. You don't play politics with your biggest customer. In the old days, the United States was the biggest customer of Saudi oil. But with shale gas and shale oil in the U.S. becoming self-sufficient, what we have is a situation, your previous biggest customer has now become no longer a customer, but even a competitor in the international market to your product. So I think from logic, from politics, declaring more independent, will not take side, do not believe in zero-sum games. These are all words from Saudi senior officials as recent as last week. I think the situation between Saudi Arabia and China will only continue to improve, and the trading of goods and also the mutual investment into each other's countries will continue to proceed apace, including the possibility of the two countries jointly investing in the third country, as exemplified by what happened with Pakistan last week. So I'm not at all pessimistic. I'm not thinking about all these fake news that's floating around the internet. I'm seeing concrete things, and the concrete things points to even better future between trade and investment between China and Saudi Arabia.